Peter. Hello. Good morning and welcome to another story and song time. How are you keeping? Are you keeping okay? Are you keeping busy and doing lots of things? I hope so. Has the sun been shining? It's shining here at the moment, so we're okay. Shall we start with the hello song? I'm going to play that on my ukulele. Oh, here it is. Fell over. You join in. I'm going to tell you my name so you can tell me your name. Hello, my name is Sally, and I'm come to sing some songs. I hope that you'll enjoy them, and I hope you'll sing along. I'm going to tell a story too, if that's alright with you. Hello, my name is Sally, and I'm happy to see you. Can you sing that again with me and wave, and you say your name? When I say my name is Sally, you tell me what your name is, okay? Hello, my name is Sally, and I'm going to sing some songs. I hope that you'll enjoy them, and I hope you'll sing along. I'm going to tell a story too, if that's alright with you. Hello, my name is Sally, and I'm happy to see you. Good singing, really good singing. I thought of a song yesterday that I haven't done yet in all my song and story times, and that is a story of Humpty Dumpty. Do you know Humpty Dumpty? Can you sing it with me? And when Humpty Dumpty falls off the wall, there has to be a big crash. But you have to do that because I'm playing the ukulele. Are you ready? You going to ready to join in and sing Humpty Dumpty with me? Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. Should you try again? Have a louder fall and a louder crash. Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. Crash. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. Good singing, good singing. That was really, really good. Oh, I just heard a little voice then. Did you hear anything? Oh, I know who it is. It's somebody who wants to say hello to you, and it's somebody who's chosen today's story. And can you see they're holding the book ready for me to read it? Can you see that? Come on, Teddy. Thank you very much for holding the book. Do you want to come and say hello to everybody? Yes, he does. Come and wave hello. Can you see he's got a very, very smart scarf on? Very smart. Give everybody a wave, Ted. There you go. And so this book that you're holding, would you like that as a story? You would? Okay. Do you want to sit and listen to it? He does. Would you like to sit and listen to it too? With me? Yes, I'm sure you would. So Ted, you sit back up there. Oops, sorry. Oops, I've knocked somebody over. You can sit there. And then Piglet can sit right there. Oh, not doing well here, am I? Okay, Piglet, you sit there. Teddy's sitting there. And everybody's ready to listen to the smartest giant in town. Can you see him? Can you see the giant? Can you see everybody looking at him? And all you can see is his shoes and up to his knees because he's so tall. Everybody's looking up at the big giant. So let's hear the story of the smartest giant in town. This is George. Can you see how big he is? He's even taller than the houses. George was a giant. Let me just move that round so you can see the pictures. George was a giant, the scruffiest giant in town. He's not very smart, is he? He's got patches. Oh dear, doesn't look very smart yet. He always wore the same pair of old brown sandals, can you see? And the same old patched up gown. I wish I wasn't the scruffiest giant in town, he said sadly. Oh dear. But one day, George noticed a new shop had opened. It was full of smart clothes. Can you see him looking through the door of the shop? So he went in and he bought some clothes. He bought a smart shirt, a smart pair of trousers, a smart belt, a smart stripy tie, some smart socks with diamonds up the sides, and a pair of smart, shiny shoes. Can you see all the things that George has bought? He's going to look very smart. Now, I'm the smartest giant in town, George said proudly. George left his old clothes behind in the shop. He was about to go home when he heard a sound. Oh, it was a giraffe. On the pavement there was a giraffe who was sniffing very sadly. "What's the matter?" asked George. "It's my neck," said the giraffe. "It's so very long and so very cold. I wish I had a long warm scarf." "Cheer up," said George, and he took off his stripy tie. "It didn't match my socks anyway," he said, as he wound it round and round the giraffe's neck. It made a wonderful scarf. "Thank you," said the giraffe, wearing his new colourful scarf. As George strode off towards home, he sang to himself, "My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe, but look me up and down, I'm the smartest giant in town." I think George is very happy. Look how smart he looks. George came to a river. On a boat stood a goat who was bleating loudly. How do boats bleat? How do goats bleat? "What's the matter?" asked George. "Look at the goat. He's very upset." "It's my sail," said the goat. "It blew away in a storm. I wish I had a strong new sail for my boat." Look, there he is. Look, he's got no sail now. "Oh, cheer up," said George, and he took off his new white shirt. It kept coming untucked anyway, he said, as he tied it to the mast of the goat's boat. It made a magnificent sail. Look at that. That's really good, isn't it? So off goes George, only wearing his vest. He hasn't got a shirt anymore. George strode along, singing to himself, "My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe, my shirt's on a boat as a sail for a goat, but look me up and down, I'm the smartest giant in town." He's still very happy. George came to a tiny ruined house. Beside the house stood a white mouse with lots of baby mice, and they were all squeaking. Can you squeak like a baby mouse? Beep, 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 beep. "What's the matter?" asked George. "It's our house," squeaked the mother mouse. "It burned down, and now we've got nowhere to live. I wish we had a nice new house." Can you see them all? And their house has burnt down and they've got nowhere to live. "Cheer up," said George, and he took off one of his shiny shoes. "It was giving me blisters anyway," he said, as the mouse and her baby scrambled inside. The shoe made a perfect home for them. "Oh, thank you," they said, as they moved into their new house. George had to hop along the road now, but he didn't mind. As he hopped, he sang to himself. "My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe. My shirt's on a boat as a sail for a goat. My shoe is a house for a little white mouse. But look me up and down, I'm the smartest giant in town." George came to a campsite. Beside a tent stood a fox who was crying. Can you see the fox crying? "Oh, what's the matter?" said George. "It's my sleeping bag," said the fox. "I dropped it in a puddle. I wish I had a warm, dry sleeping bag." Oh dear. "Cheer up," said George, and he took off one of his socks with the diamonds up the sides. "Oh, it was tickling my toes anyway," he said, as the fox snuggled into it. It made a very fine sleeping bag. Can you see the fox in the sleeping bag? "Thank you," said the fox. George hopped on, singing to himself. Are you ready to join in now? Do you think you know this song by now? Can you join in with me? My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe. My shirt's on a boat as a sail for a goat. My shoe is a house for a little white mouse. One of my socks is a bed for a fox. But look me up and down, I'm the smartest giant in town. He's very happy still. Then George came to a big squelchy bog. Beside the bog stood a dog who was howling. Ooh! I think that's how dogs howl. "What's the matter?" asked George. "Look at the little dog. He's not happy." "It's this bog," said the dog. "I need to get across, but I keep getting stuck in the mud. I wish there was a safe, dry path." What do you think is going to happen next? What do you think the giant might give him? Any ideas? "Cheer up," said George, and he took off his smart new belt. "It was squashing my tummy anyway," he said, as he laid it down over the bog. It made an excellent path. There. Now you can get across. "Thank you," said the dog. The wind started to blow, but George didn't mind. He hopped on, singing to himself. Ready? My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe. My shirt's on a boat as a mast for a goat. My shoe is a house for a little white mouse. One of my socks is a bed for a fox. My belt helped a dog who was crossing a bog. But look me up and down, my trousers are falling down. I'm the coldest giant in town. Oh dear, he's a bit cold now. Suddenly, George felt sad and shivery and not at all smart. He stood on one foot and he thought, I'll have to go back to the shop and buy some more clothes, he decided. He turned around and he hopped all the way back to the shop. But when he got to the shop, it was closed. Oh dear, sighed George to himself. Oh no. He sank down onto the doorstep and a tear ran down his nose. He felt as sad as all the animals that he'd helped along the way. Then out of the corner of his eye, he saw a bag with something familiar poking out of the top. He took a closer look. Can you see what's in a bag outside the shop? "My gown!" he yelled. "My dear old gown and my sandals!" George put them on. They felt wonderfully comfortable. "I'm the cosiest giant in town," he cried, and he danced his way home all along the road. He was so happy. Outside his front door, all the animals that he had helped were waiting, and they were carrying an enormous present. "Come on, George," they said, "open it." George untied the ribbon, and inside was a beautiful gold paper crown. Can you see he's put it on? And a card. "Look inside the card, George," said all the animals. George put the crown on his head and he opened the card. Inside it said, are you ready? "Your tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe. Your shirt's on a boat as a sail for a goat. Your shoe is a house for a little white mouse. One of your socks is a bed for a fox. Your belt helped a dog who was crossing a bog. So here is a very fine crown to go with the sandals and gown of the kindest giant in town." He's so kind. The end. The kindest giant in town. He wasn't the smartest, but he was the kindest, and that's what's really important. Did you like that story, guys? Yes, they did. Okay. Now, I think that George was a very happy giant, so it made me think that it would be really nice to sing "If You're Happy and You Know It, Clap Your Hands." Do you think you could join in with that? Because I think George was very happy. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, then you really ought to show it. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Next of all, we're going to nod our head, all right? If you're happy and you know it, nod your head. If you're happy and you know it, nod your head. If you're happy and you know it, then you really ought to show it. If you're happy and you know it, nod your head. Next, we're going to stamp our feet. Ready to stamp your feet? If you're happy and you know it, stamp your feet. If you're happy and you know it, stamp your feet. If you're happy and you know it, then you really ought to show it. If you're happy and you know it, stamp your feet. Now you're going to turn around. If you're happy and you know it, turn around. If you're happy and you know it, turn around. If you're happy and you know it, then you really ought to show it. If you're happy and you know it, turn around. Now, can you do all of them? Clap your hands, nod your head, stamp your feet, turn around. Well, I'm going to sing it all. I'm going to try and get it all in. Ready? If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands, nod your head, stamp your feet, turn around. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands, nod your head, stamp your feet, turn around. If you're happy and you know it, then you really ought to show it. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands, nod your head, stamp your feet, turn around. Well done. Really, really good. Goodness me. Is that the time? It's the end of another story and song session. I hope you've enjoyed it. Do look at the other sessions on my YouTube channel, which is Sally's Stories and Songs. Tell your friends about it. I had a message and I had a picture of a little boy in Canada eating his breakfast, I think, and watching my stories and songs. And I love to hear from you and hear where you are and if you're enjoying it. So now it's time for the goodbye song. Thank you for joining me today. Have a lovely week and I'll see you again. And please join in the goodbye song with me. Goodbye, goodbye. I'm glad you came today. Goodbye, goodbye. I'm glad you came today. We've had some stories and some songs. I'm glad you came to sing along. Goodbye, goodbye, I'm glad you came today. Give me a wave. Give all my little friends a wave. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Have a good week. Bye.